Sports Jeff Spiegel takes a look at a big name from Alabama who contributed to this study.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. This is Linda. Today, we're right in the middle of all these fresh fruits and vegetables, and I just had to take advantage of it. But I'm gonna make my own crust. We're making a peach pie, and this is a 1 pound bag of frozen peaches, and I've added 2.5 tablespoons of minute tapioca. And I don't like my pies real sweet, so I added 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I added about 1/4 of a teaspoon of fresh nutmeg that I grated myself, and just a little bit of cinnamon. Alright, now here's the crust. This is 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I've added a teaspoon and a half of salt, and a pinch of baking powder, and I mixed it all up. Alright, this is what's different. This is a cup. Actually, it's a little over a cup, and this is butter flavored Crisco because that's all I had. So it's a little over a cup. I'm just going to take my spoon and spoon all of this in here. Just with my finger. My hands are clean. And this is not even cold. It's right out of my pantry. Now I saw a lady do her pie crust like this, and I said, well, I'm going to try it, and we'll see. So this is enough to make 2 crust pies, or 4 single crust pies, whatever, whichever. Alright, now this next procedure is going to take about 5 minutes. And she takes the side of her fork and just starts cutting this soft Crisco into her bowl until it gets a uniform size, a little bigger than English peas. There'll be different sizes. Some of them will be small, some of them will be big. And I actually saw her take her fork and go around and around with it. So you see what I'm doing, and I'm going to cut you off because I don't want to waste a lot of your time with me making this crust. But this isn't the easiest part of it. But I'll bring you back when it comes to the next part. Alright, you can see there's different sizes of the shortening in here. Now, this is still different now. I'm going to take about 1/2 cup of really cold water. And I'm going to dump all of it in the center. And I'm going to start mixing this dough in with my fork. My hands are killing me, but they'll be all right soon. Now once you see now the amount of water you add is going to depend on how humid the air is, how humid or dry, and the flour. So you can see that this isn't enough water. I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm not going to add it all, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Add a little bit more water, ice cold water. Oh yeah, that is cold. Right out of my refrigerator. You're going to turn this dough over, and if you see any underneath that's not saturated, you're going to try to get all of it with water on it. Now you see this isn't real dry. It's not real dry at all. This is I'm not a believer in pulling your dough together with aluminum foil or plastic wrap or anything like that. I just think it's too dry. So now I'm going to pat this down in my bowl with my spatula. And when I get it about even, which I believe that is, I'm going to divide it like this. Into 4 sections. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Now, I got a little bit more flour right here just in case I need it. And I didn't get my pastry cloth out tonight. I had this plastic thing that I know is wide enough. So I'm just going to use it. And I floured it. And I'm going to take one of these quarters that I made out of the bowl. I'm going to take it out. There we go. And I'm going to set the other 3 aside for right now. Sprinkle a little flour on my little plastic board. I need to put a little bit of flour on my hands too. And let me see, I might need a little, just a tad more of the dough. Either she had small hands or I've got big hands, but I just think I need a little more. Alright. So here we go. And you'll be able to see the different places that the that the shortening's in, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. Now, I know that this little plastic thing is wide enough for my pie plate. So, I got my rolling pin. And remember, I've told you, you only roll in one direction at a time. I'm going to keep my board floured. Oops. Try to keep this in the middle now. Keep your pan close by so you can measure, you know, make sure your dough is big enough. Get a little more flour. Keep your board well floured, but don't depend on it to keep your there we go. To keep your I'm just going to turn this thing. Dough dry. You don't want your dough dry. You want to be able to manipulate it. And as you can see, this is easily manipulated. It's not a hard dough. It's not a hard dough to shape or... Alright, let's see my pie pan. I'm going to turn it upside down. And I got some long places and some short places, but I'm just going to fold this over. Like this. Can you all see me? Yeah. I'll get my pie plate. I'm going to put this in the middle. Like that. And I'm going to pull it. Well, I'm not going to pull it. I'm going to place it the way it should be. And you're going to see, you see a lot of places that there's not enough dough. Well, that's okay because we've got some places that have too much. So, and we've got this big crack here. Don't worry about it because we're going to cover it up. And the dough is very pliable and easy to work with. You see? And try to work out all of the air bubbles that are in it, because you'll see air bubbles. Don't worry about what the bottom looks like because nobody's going to see it, right? Nobody. Alright, I got a little bit. I'm shy here. So I'm borrowing from the places that have more than they need. Here we go. Don't stretch your dough to fit the bottom. Always lift it up. Because if you don't, when it bakes, it's going to shrink. And it'll shrink back to what it was. And that's something you do not want. You don't want it to shrink back up. Alright. Now, got a little bit more here than I need. So I'm borrowing. And I'm going to put it right here. Alright. Now this is you have to let this tapioca sit in your fruit at 10 or 15 minutes along with the sugar. And it's going to thicken up these juices. So we're going to pour that in. I'm going to move these peaches around just a bit here. And now I'm going to turn you off, and all I'm going to do is roll out the top pie crust, and then we'll be back. Set that aside. Alright, I put the top crust on, and I made a little rope design around the perimeter, and all you do is lay your finger at an angle and push down, and it makes a pretty little design. So this is going into the 400-degree oven, 45 minutes to an hour depending on your oven. You may want to cut it down. You just keep an eye on it. If the the crust is getting too dark, turn your oven down to 375, and make sure that the juices and everything bubble up, and we'll be back when it's done. Well, we're back, and my pie at 400 degrees took 55 minutes. I never turned the temperature down, but I did have to put a ring around the crust because it started to get too dark. Another thing I want to tell you is that this minute tapioca won't be found where the flour and other longer tapioca is in the grocery store, at least at Walmart. It's over by the Jell-O and puddings. So that's just a heads up on that. I'm going to cut this pie, and we'll see how this crust is.
It looks beautiful.
And we'll see how well that minute tapioca.
Well, now, I love tapioca pudding.
Well,
You don't like it.
I don't know that I've ever had it, to tell you the truth.
It's a southern thing.
Well, that's good. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this pie out of here. It's still a little warm, guys. And the tapioca.
We'll set it on a plate.
It thickened it real good.
It sure did.
But I'm going to have to get the rest of the pie out with a spoon because, like I told you, it's still warm.
See, that's an old
But the bottom crust, you can see, you all. Let me get down in there. This bottom crust is perfect. It's not burned. It's not soggy. Let's put the rest of this on Sam's little plate. Give him a...
Yeah, you know, before I became a professional eater, I tried to break into the music industry.
You did.
Yeah. Me and my brother had a duet, and we were pretty good, but we had sinus problems. Nobody would sign us, and I guess that's why I didn't make it.
You had sinus problems?
Yeah, nobody would sign us. So then we started shipping piglets from South Alabama. We'd buy them for $10 a piece and ship them to North Alabama and sell them for $10 a piece.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of work, but we weren't making any money. So we called a meeting, and I said, brother, I said, what we ought to do here? He said, I think we need a bigger truck. And I said, that's a good idea. We could make it up in volume, you know. But anyway, that's how I ended up a professional eater. So here I am.
What does that mean?
What?
I didn't get that.
That's like Grandma used to make right there.
Well, I made this crust a little different way.
This is Southern peach cobbler pie. This is, well, it's not exactly peach cobbler, but it's peach. It's a delicious pie.
How's the crust?
Crust is delicious. I've always liked the other crust you did, but in this particular instance, I believe this is the best kind.
Really?
It's delicious. Tastes like my grandmother used to make.
Let me get a close-up on that crust if I can.
You know, the real old-fashioned cooks that got up at 4:30 in the morning, prepared meals all day long. It's spot on. What does old guy say on that? It's the bomb. It's the bomb.
I don't know.
This may be one of the best pies you've ever made
Don't
here.
stop it.
Well, I'm fond of peaches. And the crust and the peaches really make it, yeah. It's great.
Okay. Well, y'all, you may not need to bake yours at 400 for the entire, like I said, mine took 55 minutes. So keep an eye on it. If the crust gets brown, too brown like mine did in spots, cover them up. And when you see the pie start to bubble through, because your tapioca, as you can see, thickens it real good. Except that I didn't wait till it got good and cool. But thank you for coming in today and spending part of your time with me. I always appreciate it. And welcome to all my new subs. And until next time, you all take care. And God bless.
That study